Do you guys know who Diane Fossey is?
Uh-huh. She's the Gorillas in the Mist.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to be Diane Fossey.
Really?
I was going to go zoology, biology route, love biology, I love science, biology. That was going to be my game plan.
Wow,
but that didn't quite work out. I'm not anywhere where I expected I'd be. Life overall. I don't think leadership is that much different than just living your life. If you live a good life, and you're principle-centered, and you know, I think that translates into leadership. I don't think there's any magical. I think it's, I was just talking about this with my mom. Control, I think, is a big issue. I think people, a lot of it comes down to a little bit to control and ego, and that's true in any environment, right? The issue especially that I see in just pure policymakers is they haven't had experience in running an organization. The actual running of it. So you set up a program, there are a billion logistical issues you got to think through. Your IT systems, your HR systems, your audit systems, your data collection systems. That just doesn't happen. And that lack of knowledge just is creating a huge, I think, inefficient system, both in Utah and in the country, because it's just layering without an understanding. So I think it's not in all cases. I mean, there's some great leaders out there that are thoughtful and want to make decisions. The ones where I think are problematic have a lack of understanding of operations and are ego-driven. Ego. Yeah. You know, I think sometimes leaders, especially in the public sector or anywhere else, can have the idea, but your ideas, and my staff will tell you, I have to hold back on ideas because I can overwhelm them and crush the organization just with change. That's something you got to, you know, I have to be really mindful of. And you know, one decision I make here can have just ripple effects through the organization on the basics of how they run their screens on what we call tasks. I mean, it's significant, and there's got to be that connection between idea and implementation. And then there's sometimes a real lack. And the idea is nothing without execution. I do what I call listening posts, where I just sit down with staff. I try to hit every office once a year. And then we tour staff, because stuff gets filtered. That's the other thing, right? I mean, I know by the time it gets up to me, one, people want to keep me happy, so they don't always tell me what's really going on, or they don't want to look bad, or stuff just gets filtered. So we try to get out in the field regularly. You got to get out there and see what's really happening. We do that. And then I've asked Kristen's site where people can anonymously post questions, so we know, you know, face to face, they may not feel comfortable saying stuff to me. Very comfortable if they're anonymous. And then, you know, then of course just regular meetings with senior management team. And I do podcasts, and we try to do up and down communication, and we've got systems in place where it's supposed to happen. But you guys in communications know sometimes the biggest challenge in an organization is getting what you say to actually resonate and not. Give treats. We used to have like this horrific corrective action plan schedule and stuff, and we've just tightened it up so it's a little more efficient. We'll have really clear measures of what people hit. You got to be transparent, right? You don't want to be unfair to people and say, guess what's going on. To be very clear, very specific on what they have to do, and not too many things, a few key things. And you know, we'll see how it goes. There's times when there's just very clear, difficult decisions that have got to be made, and but I'll never make a decision unilaterally. I absolutely fundamentally get. I'm one person in a team. We all play an important role. The roles are different. One's not more important than the other. So I try to get a lot of feedback. We have good discussions. I don't want a lot of yes people around me, and we want candid, open, straight conversations. And then ultimately I got to make the decision. I'm 41, so I'm the oldest of all you guys. So I still have, you know, and I've definitely am doing things differently today than I did 10 years ago, and I'm hoping in another 10 years I'm doing things even better than I am now. It's a continuum. I think I'm less concerned now about kind of getting credit. You know, it was easy 10, 15 years ago to make sure that people know that I'm doing the work that da-da-da-da. But I found later that really helping other people succeed in the long term is a much better approach. So that's probably an important lesson that probably not to make decisions out of fear, really. I think sometimes when we're talking about the issues around leadership, I think there's a lot of fear-motivated decisions, fear of, what if I don't look good? What if the people don't like the decision? What if it's the bad decision and we fail? What if, and those fear-related things can be, I think, poison long-term for an organization. I think it's more important to make decisions based off of good information, hope, flexibility. We can adapt, we'll figure it out. So I think just keeping perspective about who we are in all this. We're here to contribute. In our world, I see this, we're temporary stewards of the public trust. And when I'm gone, but we're here to watch over the taxpayer and provide services. It's not my organization, it's not my money. I'm a temporary steward, and move on. I'd say the second thing is to speak your truth. Say what's true for you, even if it's not popular, even if it's against the norm, even if it's not going to be received well. And speak your truth, and then be open to feedback. Knowing it's okay to change your mind. That's the other part of being a leader. You don't have to know everything. You really don't know everything, so just be honest about that. Yeah. It's a total fakey thing if you think you know everything. And so I'm really comfortable asking questions. I don't think leadership is that much different than just living your life. If you live a good life, you're principle-centered, and I think that translates into leadership. I don't think there's any magical thing to it. Sometimes my staff, like if I go a few levels down, can be a little intimidated by me, just not because of me, just because of my title. We are all just people.